Hello, thank you for having me. I'm very happy that you stuck around to one of the last sessions of the day. I'm with Prudena, and I have a couple goals here today. First is to kind of show you what is an example of what's possible with all the APIs that are out there. And the second is to give you a little bit of a tour of what we're doing at Prudena. What we've done here really wouldn't have been possible, I think, just a few years ago without all the sort of innovation that's going on in financial technology. So first, a little bit about Prudena. Basically, we are a platform for value investors, and what we're trying to do is kind of take the rules and the kind of ideas of Benjamin Graham, and we're trying to update them and sort of augment them with kind of more recent ideas of, say, behavioral economics and, say, what Bill James did to baseball, which is sort of re-looking at the actual statistics that are used to kind of value baseball players, but in this case, equities. So to get started, what I was doing with trying to keep a very simple model is I kind of went looking, as any good developer does, for someone who's done it before already. And I came across someone called Stephen Penman, who's a professor at Columbia University and has a very nice valuation framework. So to give you an idea, this is a very simple valuation framework. On the far right, or the short bar, is basically the book value of the equity. The middle bar is the book value of the equity, plus sort of a little bit of a model to handle recent earnings. And the third bar is the market price. So if you have a lemonade stand, the short bar is the lemonades, the middle bar is sort of your lemonades and the people in line, and the last one is what your neighbor is going to pay. What I really like about this is it's the simplest model I've found that is still meaningful and is able to get some meaning out of it. And what do I mean? This is Microsoft. And what it does is it shows that if you take the current earnings of Microsoft and you project them forward, you don't have to grow too much in order to actually be worth the market price. So a lot of what value investors try and do is try and present themselves from downside risk. There is a lot of risk, and actually traditionally most of the risk has been paying too much for future growth. So what this model says is that there's not that much that's really in the market price that's not explained by current earnings. That's really not the case with everything. So, well, let's look at another company really quickly. So this is Exxon, sort of similar thing. There's another company that so this tells a different story, all right? This is a car company. I'd love to have Tesla as a car. But as an investor, when I look at this, it's super clear, and it tells a story very succinctly and very clearly to even someone who's not familiar with investing, that almost all of the market price is explained in future growth. It's not in earnings, and it's not in the book. And there's a reason, so if you think Tesla's taking over the world, that's great, but if it doesn't, there's a problem. And in fact, even if it does, you might just get your money back and nothing more. So the trouble with this kind of thing, and here we can look at Amazon as sort of similar. This tells another story about how there's tons of earnings, but people think it's not going to grow, so it's undervalued. So when you're first looking at something, it's a very quick way to look at it. Now, I'm trying to do my best to save everyone time. So this simple model, I can automate it for the entire S&P 500. So you can actually screen things and look kind of sector to sector if you want. So that's the thing. We're really trying to save time, make it easier to be a value investor. And one of the key inputs into all these models is your implied growth rate. Now look, I understand that these simple models are not sort of the be-all, end-all of actually making an investment. So what else are we doing at Prudena? The other thing that we do is we allow you to take a simple model that's very transparent to you, so you know exactly what the math is, put some ranges for the values of what the earnings are and the growth, and give yourself sort of a more fuller picture about the range of possible opportunities for the value of that stock. So here, this I think is Microsoft again. The price is around 46. Clearly there's a growth opportunity. Maybe it's going to fall apart. You can do it for your entire portfolio. And the other thing that we can do that's kind of nice is if you really want to dig into actual financial statements, we have a financial statement editor which actually takes XBRL filings, raw filings from the SEC. It allows you to notate them how they want. And for me, what I can do is end up with a reformulated statement that is friendly to an investor. So what we're trying to do is basically automate real solid fundamental investment strategies and financial statement analysis. Anyone who's done that knows that it's very painful. The other thing that we do is basically try and present data, like here is a heat map. It's not based on price, it's basically based on your models and what your settings are. And the last thing I would say, what makes this possible is Xignite has been a great partner to work with. They get a lot of data from there. I use Quovo for account aggregation, so I can bring all of your accounts in very easily. 28.io does the raw XBRL filings and allows me to do that. And I have Quandl, which is a great free resource for financial data. So all of these things will make it possible, and I'm gonna get conned. No, I didn't. All right, so that's it. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please meet me afterwards.